Hey.
Alright y'all, we are wrapping up our prediction videos for this new upcoming NBA season. I've done the Eastern Conference standings, I've done the Western Conference standings. Definitely check out those videos on my channel if you are interested. But in this video, we are talking about award predictions. So I've gone ahead and I have chosen who I think is going to win the MVP, the DPOY, Rookie of the Year, Sixth Man of the Year, Most Improved, Coach of the Year, and the newly introduced Clutch Player of the Year. I also gave 4 other honorable mentions for each award, just to give this video a little bit of runtime, because you know how we do on YouTube. Anyway, I had a lot of fun picking the guys for this. I'll admit it was more fun than the standings predictions, which, not to say they weren't fun, but the awards are just kind of cool. You know, you can get pretty nifty and creative with some of these. Anyway, let's start with Clutch Player of the Year. Won last year by De'Aaron Fox. Obviously, as you can see, I have him under the honorable mentions. I think he'll get some votes just because he won it last year. Damian Lillard is going to be the go-to guy at the end of games for the Milwaukee Bucks, so he'll probably get some votes up there. Jalen Brunson was someone who I think was a little slept on for last year's voting for this award because he had a bunch of really clutch shots for the New York Knicks and won them some games. And then I got Anthony Edwards, just because he'll probably have like a few game winners or just clutch shots throughout the year, and everyone loves Anthony Edwards. He'll probably have some good quotes after the games too. He'll get some votes for that. But at the end of the day, I think the man who wins this award is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of the most unguardable guards in the NBA currently. Incredibly clutch shot taker and shot maker, and with the Thunder taking a leap this year as everyone is predicting, I think it all comes together and gets him the award. Next up for Coach of the Year, let's look at the honorable mentions. I got Chris Finch for the Minnesota Timberwolves. If you saw my Western Conference predictions video, I won't spoil it, but I am absurdly high on the Timberwolves this year, so if that prediction comes true, I think Chris Finch could get the award similar to how Mike Brown got it last year for the Kings. Outside of that, I got Joe Mazzulla and Adrian Griffin. They're the coaches for the top 2 teams in the East. You know, one of them will finish as the 1 seed, and I bet whichever team does, their coach will probably get some recognition and some votes for this award. And then similar to the SGA pick, if the Thunder end up taking a leap, and if it's a big leap, again, I could see Mark Daigneault getting some recognition for this award. Again, similar to how Mike Brown did last year for the Kings. But at the end of the day, my official prediction is Darvin Ham of the Los Angeles Lakers. Again, I won't spoil it, but if you saw my Western Conference predictions video, I'm also pretty high in the Los Angeles Lakers. I think Darvin Ham will finally get the recognition that he deserves for getting this Lakers team to the playoffs and having them play some really good basketball. Next up, I got Most Improved Player, and this is an award I have some beef with because I've seen some odds, and I hate seeing guys like Cade Cunningham and Jabari Smith being favorites for this award. I think that's incredibly boring and incredibly disrespectful to the players who have actually improved in this league, and not just because, they were a top draft pick and they saw their stats go up as they, continued on their path to being an all-star player. But I like seeing guys who went from, being an average role player to being a starter, or from being an average starter to an all-star, much like how Lauri Markkanen won it last year. So with that being said, some guys who I think I could see taking a similar leap would be Franz Wagner of the Orlando Magic. I know he was kind of a high draft pick, but he's gone under the radar for the most part throughout his early career. I think Desmond Bane could be a huge favorite for this award, especially with the absence of John Morant for the first 25 games. He got off to a really hot start last year until he got hurt and people kind of just slowly forgot about it. But if a similar thing happens this year and he continues to do that and not get hurt this time around, then he might finally get some recognition for being a really good basketball player. I got Austin Reeves up here. Obviously, he's getting the starting job now in LA with LeBron and AD, and he'll probably see a nice little statistical boost. He's already a fan favorite. He's on the Lakers. He'll get a lot of exposure. He'll probably get some votes. And I got Scotty Barnes. I know he was also a top draft pick, but he had a pretty down year last year. A lot of people are falling off the Scotty Barnes bandwagon, but with their new head coach, Darko Rajakovic, I like what I've seen in the preseason so far. I think they're going to use him more like a guard than a point forward, and I think the new role change could lead to a nice boost in play from Mr. Barnes. But winning the award, and I'm surprised this isn't more of a favorite on some books out there, but Jordan Poole just seems like such a lock for this award. He's already proven to be a pretty good player, but that was in a limited role in Golden State. He's now been traded to Washington, where he is going to be the star player and the guy getting the majority of shots. His stats should probably go insane this year, and for some reason, that's just something the voters like to see. So I think Jordan Poole might be a lock, for better or for worse. On to Sixth Man of the Year. This one's always a fun one, but some honorable mentions. Malik Monk is being slept on. He was awesome last year for the Sacramento Kings. He should continue to be awesome. And he's still pretty young. People forget that he's only a couple of years into the league, and he's got a lot of room to grow. I've been loving the passing I've been seeing from him since last season. Obviously, he can score the ball and have big games too. I hope he gets some recognition this year. And speaking of getting recognition, Bobby Portis should have gotten way more last year, and he's another guy that I hope gets some more this year. Was tremendous off the bench for Giannis and Brook Lopez, and it should be another year of much of the same. From there, I got Norman Powell, who, he'll probably put up good stats off the bench for Kawhi and PG. He might start enough games that people don't really count him as a sixth man, but either way, he's a bench guy in my eyes. He probably won't get many votes, but he gets votes from me. And I'll be honest, this last one was kind of a meme, just because I couldn't really find a fifth player or a fourth honorable mention that I liked, but it'd be really funny to see Chris Paul get some votes for Sixth Man of the Year. But I have Emmanuel Quickley winning the award. Some people will say he got robbed last year. I disagree with that, although I will say he had a pretty good case. Either way, I think he comes back with some vengeance and finally gets what was perhaps taken from him last year. Next up, we got Rookie of the Year, and just based off of the honorable mentions, you can probably assume who I have winning the award. I know a lot of people have been giving love to Chet Holmgren for potentially being a dark horse, but I just don't see it happening. Rookie of the Year has always been kind of a statistical award more than people like to admit, and although Chet's going to be a really good player on a good team, I just don't think his role is going to be big enough that he's going to be putting up the numbers that will even come close to the stuff that Wembanyama is going to be doing in San Antonio. In fact, I actually think Scoot Henderson will finish above Chet in the voting, just because of the fact that he's going to have a bigger role on a rebuilding team. Now from there, you might be thinking, oh, where's Amen Thompson? He's really good. He's probably going to be one of the better players in this draft class. Why isn't he in your top 5? And to that, I'll say similar to Chet, but he's the only guy on this honorable mentions and winner list here that is not currently projected to start. His brother Asar will probably have not that great of a stat line, but he's also going to be a starting player and will be getting a ton of minutes on a Detroit team that is still rebuilding. Same thing with Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller is probably going to be hucking up a lot of shots on a team that is not trying to win. Whereas Amen Thompson is going to be a bench piece for Fred VanVleet and Jalen Green, and unless one of them gets hurt for a long period of time, his stats just probably aren't going to look that great. And I'm not going to say he's a trash player. I don't think he's going to be a trash player. I'm really high on Amen Thompson, but when it comes to Rookie of the Year voting, I just don't know if he's going to get a lot of love. Alright, let's move on to these last two awards, get this wrapped up, and these are probably the two awards that people care most about. First up, we have Defensive Player of the Year, and this award is looking pretty stacked for contestants this season. In my honorable mentions, I got Anthony Davis, who at this point, it's just, will he be healthy enough to reach the threshold to win the award? Because if he does, he'll probably be a heavy favorite to win it, but we haven't seen him hit that threshold in quite some time. I wouldn't at all be surprised if Jaren Jackson Jr. repeats. He was really good last year on defense, won the award despite not playing nearly as many minutes as the other contestants. Outside of that, Bam Adebayo continues to need more love when it comes to the voting for this award. He's been killing it on defense in Miami for the past couple of seasons, and it is still mind-boggling how many voters just do not respect him. And then lastly, I have Evan Mobley as the fourth and final honorable mention. It was a shock to some people that he was a top 3 finalist, considering he was a second-year player last year. Maybe the voters think it was a fluke and just don't even respect him this year. Maybe he continues to improve and voters give him another chance. I don't really know. At the end of the day, all I know is that Evan Mobley is a pretty darn good defender. But who I have winning the award might be a little bit of a shock, and some of you might be claiming clickbait. But it is truly what I believe, as I could definitely see a possibility where Victor Wembanyama sweeps Rookie of the Year, also comes in and sweeps Defensive Player of the Year as well. Similar to Anthony Davis, this one's going to come down to the game's threshold and if Wembanyama is able to meet requirements, but at the end of the day, I don't think voters are going to be able to ignore the multiple defensive plays he makes seemingly every night, where we just haven't seen stuff like this on a basketball court before. Some of these contests and blocks and steals he's able to get are otherworldly. I don't know the stats on it. It might be historic that he wins Rookie of the Year and DPOY in the same season, but I really do think it has a chance of happening. And lastly, the one award that everyone cares about the most valuable player. This is another one where you can probably look at my honorable mentions and have a good idea at who I have winning the award. But rather than spoiling it right away, for the honorable mentions, obviously we got Giannis. Bucks should be pretty good this year with the addition of Damian Lillard. He'll probably be the best player on one of the best teams. Easy enough. On the other side of that coin, if the Celtics come out on top in the Eastern Conference, it will probably be due to Jason Tatum taking another leap. And if that's the case, it will probably go to Tatum. I could definitely see him, taking a hit in points per game because of the addition of Kristaps Porzingis, but then I also see a boost in assists per game. Maybe he puts in some more effort on defense and gets some more steals and blocks. I just think he could have a bit more of a complete stat line that could help him win the award. From there, I got Devin Booker. There's definitely a possibility that the Suns come out and win like 55, 60 games in a stacked Western Conference. Devin Booker is the leader on this team. He might not be the best player on this team, but he is certainly the leader and face of the Suns. And for those reasons, if they go out and win a bunch of games, I can see a Devin Booker MVP case happening. And then I got Shea. He got some love, some fifth place votes for what the Thunder did last season with him leading them to the play-in game. I could see a similar thing happening again this year if the Thunder take another huge leap with Shea at the helm. Even if they don't take a huge leap, it can't be denied that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is one of the most unguardable players in the league currently. But to wrap this video up, of course, at the top spot, I got Nikola Jokic coming back and claiming his almost three-peat of MVP awards. The only way I really see this not happening is if he doesn't meet the game's threshold, but Jokic has been a consistently durable player. He's still in his prime. He's still going to continue to be the best player on planet Earth for this next season, again, unless something crazy happens. And for that reason, I think voters are going to feel bad about giving the award to Embiid last year. As stupid as this sounds, I think they're going to feel bad. And I think Jokic is going to get his third. But that wraps up the awards video. Again, let me know what you think I got right, what you think I got wrong down in the comments. Outside of that, if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, comment again. I don't know why I said comment twice. All of those good things. And I'll see you on the next one.